Is that too loud?
Nope. Hey, welcome everybody. This is Justin Letheby. Next to me is Jayson Bates. We are doing Tech for Realtors. This one is the third part of our three-part series, and we're talking content for video this time. So we've done in the past, we just talked about the video basics in the first session. Last time we talked about some of the tools. And now what we're going to do is we're going to really kind of break it down and hopefully give you guys some real good ideas on what to do next. What content should you do? How should you strategize that out a little bit? And hopefully it sounds like Jayson's got some really good examples of people to follow to help gain some of those ideas for you as well. So Jayson, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello. I'm Jayson Bates. I'm a licensed loan officer actually here in the state of Arizona, the host of a podcast called Valley of the Sun Real Estate Show. And you can check that out by going to my website at www.valleyofthesunrealestateshow.com and connect with me on any social media from there.
Awesome. All
right, cool. So this is like a big one here, right? So, and I don't know, Justin, when I speak to realtors about video and video content, it's kind of strange. I get a lot of people that say, hey, I don't know what to say. And it's kind of crazy because I think we tend to start taking things for granted. And when you're in the industry, you live it, you breathe it, you kind of, experience it every single day. So you kind of lose touch with what the basics are for the video, or what the message, I should say. And so,
absolutely. I agree with you completely. To me, one of the things you laugh for the bat, and I put myself on mute because I was going to laugh too loud, is I love it when a realtor says they don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Because one of the biggest complaints I look at realtors is we never know when to stop saying. So, all of a sudden we get stage fright in front of camera.
Yeah, when there's something wrong, they're very loud, right? Or
right.
When they point out some differences. When I teach CE classes and things like that, inevitably a realtor will want to try to show themselves up and say, hey, you should say this, or you should say that, or, instead of just going with the flow. So
no, I just find it funny, and the thing is I laugh. One of the things that I'll say, and it doesn't really hit the topics right off the bat, but one of the things that I always like is you get some of the realtors that are really knocking out of the park. They'll do this. You know what? I just had a great question yesterday. Here's what it was. And they went into a 5-minute tangent on that. I think that's the easiest solution for any content you have right now out there is, you're getting, and just be open to what's going on around you. We're going to give you some specific examples here in a bit, but I think one of the best things you can always do from a content perspective is be open and always be listening. If you are listening, you are having hundreds, thousands of topics presented at your feet every day that people want to talk about. How's the market doing? What should I do about X? Should I stage my home? You get these questions every day. I look on Facebook. I've been watching Twitter for the last 2 days, just trying to prepare for some more content ideas. And it's just, I'm sitting there going, idea.
I know. Once it starts going, once your creative juices start going, then the content is really endless. It really is. And the beautiful thing, and we've talked about this before, video, is that you can create the same kind of, let me back up here for a minute. You can talk about the same subject, but because your video has your own personality to it, you have your own twist to it, and therefore it's unique to you. So don't be afraid to I guess my point being is don't go out there thinking that you're trying to get or talk about something that nobody else has ever talked about. That's probably not going to happen. But you can always have your own personality, your own spin, your own take on that particular subject that you're trying to do a video about.
Well, Google staging and just look at how many blog articles are on staging, right? I think eventually, my thing is right now, I think there could be a max point at some point in time when that happens. But two things happen here. One, there's not enough realtors in video right now to begin with.
Yeah. Amen.
Better virtual staging.
Right.
But the other thing that I think is huge there is, if you're in here now, you're going to be ahead of the game. But two, even if you're not ahead of the game, like if you're watching this video 3 years from now and everybody's blowing up video, if you do it better, or you do SEO better, or you do something different, that's what's going to stand out for you, not the fact that 500 people before you beat you to the punch.
Right.
And, again, we're realtors all across the country. We are not just in one microcosm of the state.
Right.
So everyone's looking for different things. And what you're trying to get across when you're doing the videos is representing who you are, how you communicate with people, how you present yourself. What kind of energy do you bring? Are you a high person where you're just highly energetic? Are you very detail oriented? Every one of those things always matter, and you're going to relate to other people. And that's what video brings out for people. That's what they get to see. They get to see who you are, how you're doing what you're doing, and if I can relate to you or not, or even if I think I could work with you. That's what you're trying to give these people as an idea for that.
Right. So let's go into the content types, right? So content being, and it's all about content. We talked about lighting, we talked about equipment, we talked about all that, but now once you have all that in place, it's about the content. That's how you really capture somebody's attention. So content, I know when I do my videos, which I need to do more, and that's part of my New Year's resolution, to be honest with you. But I want to have a diverse thing of videos. So in other words, don't always just shoot a property. Don't always just do the property itself. The property isn't, that's fine, but the property is only going to sell and you're going to move on. You want videos to be long lasting too, my opinion. So you want to showcase you. People want to see you, and keep that in mind when you're doing content for videos. So you want to have professional. I always kind of categorize them in 4 different kind of areas, and you can add to it, Justin, if you'd like. But I do professional, personal, trending, and then showcase. Those are my 4 for videos.
Oh yeah, I would agree with those, because I think they brace it, and you wrote them down in the area how you kind of see that, and I would say those are general categories. I would say we're giving you general descriptors. Only thing I want to make sure we put in place, because we talked about YouTube quite a bit in the last video, is when you're doing this, don't break your video playlist down to those categories. We're just trying to give you broad categories on how to think about what kind of content you want to create. When you start thinking about how you want to do things, start thinking about calling them how-to tours, Q&As, however you want to brand those names. But yes, I agree completely. I love those categories. I think those are great. Just how do I need to think about what I want to build, and how do I want to kind of, for myself personally, categorize them? But I would never recommend categorizing that way when you put them into YouTube. That would be suicide, essentially.
Yeah, no. This is just to get you kind of in the mode for the frame of mind, so you can get the right content for the type of video you want to produce or put together.
So when you say professional, tell me what you're thinking. What are you talking as far as like a professional video?
Well, in professional, you want to talk about real estate. So you want to talk about what's happening in the real estate market, not necessarily just with houses, but also with your business or your profession. So talk about some maybe legal legislations that are coming down the pipeline, different trends that are happening in real estate. Maybe your company is doing something that is unique that other companies aren't doing. That sort of thing is kind of what I'm referring to when it comes to professional. And kind of like your LinkedIn profile almost. LinkedIn's your professional profile. So anything that you could put on LinkedIn, I would say fits into that category.
And just to go back, we did not talk about LinkedIn at all, and that was our fault last week.
Yeah.
If you're going to create professional videos, put them on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
By all means.
Yeah.
It's a mistake to not do that. I would agree. I would say bios, testimonials, as you have written on there, I think are all very solid ideas from that. Testimonials are great. Professional would be tips and tricks, things like that, things you want to know. Q&As, I still think it'd be great. Someone asked me X, let me answer it for you right now. I think that's a great use in Periscope right now, to be able to sit there and say, hey, real quick, I'm just going to chat about this. It's going to get recorded. I can multi-purpose any way I want.
Right.
And now I'm done.
Right.
What we need to make sure we get through with that is that, think about what you want to do and have a game plan. Don't be all over the place with this. Think about what you're trying to accomplish and have very specific goals. And then label them out and write them out, put them on a spreadsheet. When me and Jayson communicate back and forth with one another, we have a spreadsheet so we know what we're doing.
Yep.
I would recommend doing that and have categories of topics that you want to cover. And then, when you have a Monday, a Tuesday, whatever, a Sunday, rip off 4 or 5 videos. And then you can always cover some of those odd videos at different times.
I try to do my videos. My goal, like I do the podcast, right? So I do at least 1 podcast a week. That's my goal. And so that gives me a whole week to prepare for it. So when it comes to videos, I'm going to start doing the same thing and just do one a week. So by the end of the year, I've got 52 videos. So I think we can get overwhelmed too with, how these need to look and what they need to do and all. I mean, it can just be a lot in addition to what you're already doing on a daily basis to track business. Remember about videos is that they work for you 24/7. I mean, I just got a call just last week, Justin, from a video that I did. The gentleman wanted to talk to me about a refinance. And that's a video I did years ago. So that they work as long as the message is there and you put it out there properly. So speaking of testimonials, that's one thing that I haven't done a good enough job on. I'll be the first to admit it. I'm going to start doing it. I'm going to start putting on more testimonials. I'm also going to start doing, as an idea for you, is thank you. Instead of thank you notes or thank yous, I'll do a general video. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to, represent you in your home purchase or, and servicing your needs when it comes to real estate. If you know any friends or family, please reach out to me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can have all your call to actions, all that kind of stuff right there within the video. And it serves kind of a dual purpose, if you will.
I think those are great ideas. I think those are great. You plan them out. There's an agent, a Keller Williams agent that I know. Her name is Lori Ballin, and she creates these quick little one-offs. She's got a little canned program, but it's a little one-off happy birthday videos. So if they're on her list, she sends them a video for happy birthday. It's corny, it's nothing crazy, but it takes her very little time to get done, and she can rip them off at a certain time. She uses BombBomb, so she plans it out. It works fine. I think those are awesome little ideas, and they're great little touches that no one's doing right now. I admit I'm not doing it. I'm not sending emails. I still send my text for happy birthday, and that's enough for me for right now. But if you want to be ahead of the game, that's a solid idea.
Here's the thing too, that it fits into the professional category. And I got this idea from that Google Plus page that I'll post here in the chat again. A realtor actually went around and asked people in a park setting. I don't know where it was, just off the street, if you will, in his community, or I think it was a him. No, maybe it was a female. I can't remember. But they asked him, what do you look for in a realtor? And people would answer that question right then and there. I look for somebody who's got experience. I got to look for somebody who is knowledgeable, somebody who's full time, somebody, they listed all these things, and it was kind of an eye opener, quite honestly. And that video is in that group. And let me post that here for you again, just so you can check it out. But I thought that was genius. So it's not just always about you, but about the perception of the industry also could be a professional video.
Oh, and I agree, but I think there's another thing that happens with this that you gain from this, and this is something I was telling somebody the other day. You ask these questions, right? What are you looking for in a realtor? What are you looking for in this? What do you want in your board, in your association, whatever? You ask this quick question. Now you have just built content.
Yeah.
Not only did you have a video now, but you have also just built content for the next X weeks. Right. And Mock said it a little bit earlier, that the trouble isn't building the first two videos. It's the one after the second and third week that people going, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
Right.
And I think that's an excellent point. But I think that problem comes from not the willing to be here and doing the video, because really right now it's so easy to create a video. Now, if you're looking to create show quality, now there's editing and stuff like that, and that takes time.
Right.
But if you are having content lined up and you've got 20, 30, 40 topics already ready to go that you're going to talk about, there's no problem creating the video.
No.
The problem becomes is someone's going, I don't know what to create. I mean, we're going to start running into that at some point in time. We got to get ahead of the game a little bit and start thinking, what's the next tech topic? What's going on? And how do we stay ahead of that? Luckily enough, right now, I got plenty, but it'll eventually become a challenge. But the problem is right now, it's easy for us to set this up because I know what I want to talk about next. I know what's going to hit next. I know what's going to hit next. Right. You got ideas. We got plenty of content. When the content runs dry, then it becomes a challenge. Now it's work again. And the people, no one wants to work.
Well, and the other thing too is you don't get the results back on the videos that, as quickly as you may want them. No video is going to go viral. I know we've said that a million times. Not going to go viral. So you kind of get there's excitement when you first make your videos and you're first on camera or you're first on Blab or, some of these other video platforms. You got this excitement. But then that kind of wears off. The newness of it, the honeymoon period kind of wears off a little bit. And so then, like you said, you got to get into the content. You got to really get to the nitty gritty about the message that you're trying to put out there, and that can be hard. So, but you're right with that video. Go out in your community and ask people. Walk up to them in a Starbucks, whatever, and just ask them that simple question and video it.
No, I think it'd be great.
With a video stick, what are those sticks or whatever those? I don't even those selfie.
Those selfie sticks.
Yeah, do it with that. Hey, what do you look for in a realtor? You know, they may look at you crazy or whatever, but you know what? That might be kind of fun anyway.
Yeah, that probably would go viral, actually.
Yeah, it might go viral. So do something like that. And then, like you said, take that, whatever they're telling you, there's your content, because the people are speaking to what they want to hear, really.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think those are great ideas. And actually, Mark just beat me to it. There is an agent, I think you could tie two things at one time in doing what you're talking about. There's an agent that in Illinois that used to go to Starbucks once a month and just throw down $100 Starbucks card right at the cashier. Mm-hmm. So the first X amount of drinks were on him. And all you do is sit there and read his paper and do various things, and people would come and thank him with things. I think he got a chance to introduce himself. So you could do the same thing, $100 card, have video. Okay, you know what? Do you mind? I'm just doing this quick little interview. Do you mind if I ask you a quick question about what you're looking for in a realtor? I appreciate you thanking me, but can I ask you one more quick question? You're probably going to get half of them to say no, but at $100, if you get 10 people, you've got 10 topics coming down the road.
I guarantee you, just with the audacity to do something like that, you probably would, over, maybe a month, or you might even get some business out of that real quick, just from those people. Right. So
he did. He's a very solid agent. Yeah. And he did well from that. I mean, he usually counted, probably not a transaction a month from that, but he usually got, probably at least a piece of business on average from each time he visited.
Yeah. I mean, if you went to a Starbucks that's in a neighborhood, most people that are, homeowners are going to be visiting. I mean, don't visit the Starbucks unless you're going after buyers, of course, that, is right next to an apartment complex. But, one that's in a neighborhood type deal. I mean, I would think that, first of all, I think the demographics for Starbucks, I don't know what that is, but Starbucks coffee isn't cheap. So I would think that there's some, good, solid, credit worthy, place. That's a place to get some good, solid buyers and sellers, I would think. I don't know.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I do probably about once or twice a week. I will go into a Starbucks and work for about 2-3 hours just so I'm not in the same place every stinking time.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to me. And Mark was just saying it, show up in the morning or right at lunchtime. And those are the two busiest hours, and guaranteed, yes, you're going to find enough people. Now, you're going to have some people that are in a hurry, and that's fine. But if you say, look, I just want a 30-second video of you answering one question.
Yeah, his name is Max, not Mock.
Max. Okay, sorry.
Max.
I'm screwing it up. I screw up names.
Come on, wake up.
You're telling me. I feel like it's about Monday and not Friday.
You still got the fog from the holidays coming on.
Yes, I do need my Starbucks. Absolutely. I did not go this morning.
So that's my professional area. And I think that's a great idea. Going out in the community, filming that, posting that. I think it can go viral. And you can even take some of those things and make them personal. Because one of the realtors, Kristen Levanway, I mentioned her before, and I'll look up her YouTube channel here in a second. I'll post it. She's done some videos on things you find in an agent's car.
I've heard that. I haven't seen these, but I've heard them.
Yeah, and she does some personal things like that show kind of the behind the scenes, if you will, of what her daily activities are. That goes a long way. It's kind of personal, kind of professional, kind of bridges that gap there a little bit. Maybe do a day in the life of a real estate agent kind of deal behind the scenes. Maybe do a video when it comes to professional, how you write a contract, or this is how I negotiate. I just got this contract in. This is the issue that I'm having. This is the phone call I'm about ready to make to this client. Film those sort of things. I know they're a big hit on Bravo TV when it comes to $1 Million Listing, because you sit there and watch it. So you could do the same thing and film yourself on a phone conversation, calling a client, negotiating a deal, or accepting an offer, saying, "Hey, congratulations, got your offer in. Full price," whatever the case may be. Film that. That's content.
The only thing I would say, be very, very careful, because every state's different, especially from a real estate perspective. Make sure you know what the laws are as far as those kind of recordings go.
Oh, okay.
Everyone's going to be a little bit differently because each state will have different laws, because you're having a conversation that is agency issues. So you just got, I agree with what you're saying. Just know what your state laws say on that, because you could get yourself in a little deep water. Because that's the only problem we have with realtors, right? There's a lot of great topics that go in place with this, and a lot of things that can technically be done from almost any internet marketer that's out there. But from real estate, our code of ethics has real tight laws and real tight rules on that.
Well, then act it out.
That's my thought. My thought is
pretend that you just,
names and people are innocent, but here's a conversation I just went, here's an example of a conversation I went through. I would agree. I'm just saying you got to be very careful about doing that. I like the idea, and I think it's a solid idea, but just make sure you're not breaking any real estate or state laws. That's the only thing I'd be very mindful of on that. But no, I think you did. I love, there's a couple one, and I did put down Kristen's link in there.
Oh, you got it. Okay. Well, did you? I just put it up there too. So it's the same. Is it the same?
There is one, and I couldn't find her. There is one that does a day in the life of a realtor, and it's actually, she's kind of funny. She's a funny girl, and I can't find it right now. There's a couple that are out there. I think those are great ideas. I think from personal, it can even really be outside of the real estate world, right? Mm-hmm. You're hanging out at a park. Hey, just want to say, hey, thanks. I'm enjoying the holidays. Boom, boom, boom. We're doing this right now with the family, blah, whatever. Doing some of that personal stuff that exists out there is kind of neat. It wasn't video, but there is a social media guru. She really nails Facebook, who one of the things that she does is she really nails Facebook. She teaches people to do Facebook well, but every so often she'll put a personal Facebook post out there. For instance, one that she had some of the biggest interaction with on her business page was, just got a new puppy. Anybody's got dog training tips? Never had so many comments, she says.
Oh, great idea.
So, you have things like that. Put that in, you can do that in video as well, right? Hey, by the way, here's the new puppy I got. Help. I need help. Right. Give me tips below.
Right.
Things like that could be hysterical. You just got done at the, for instance, that was a big hit. 2 years ago was the water bucket thing.
Yeah.
Those were huge. Those things weren't bad to put on there. But anything that gets out there and has some attention, you got a stain on a carpet. Hey, give me a tip. I'm struggling with how to get this out. I need help personally. Tell me what's going on.
And here's the thing I'll say too here, Justin. I don't know why this rang a bell with me. I was watching the show Beyond the Tank. I don't know if you've seen that show.
I've heard it. I haven't seen it.
So I was watching that show last night, and they were talking. I think it was Sugar Scrub or something like that. One of the girls who got a deal with Mark Cuban. He visited her after the fact. They're doing well, but they're not where they want to be. And he suggested start doing videos. But the thing that that really resonated with me was have subliminal messages within your video. So if you're going to do like a personal video, make sure your brand is somewhere in your background or somewhere. You don't have to say the brand. You don't have to say what you do or what you represent in the organization or anything like that. But just have the subliminal message. So when you're doing videos, be aware that if you're on doing a video with a white background or a white wall or something like that, maybe put your logo or something back there that indicates that you are a realtor. Maybe wear your name tag or something like that. You don't say that you're a realtor, but people see those things and will understand that, hey, she's a realtor or he's a realtor or whatever, and they'll get the message. So have your branding everywhere. You're on mute again there, Justin. There you go. So have your branding out there.
Yeah, and I agree with that, because I think one of the things that happens is one of the things we always have to make sure we're doing is we have to always identify that we're realtors. So you have a tag that's readable saying you're a realtor, you've done that.
Right.
So I think that's not only satisfies laws, it also satisfies what you're looking for as far as that subliminal you're talking about. And I think that's huge.
Yeah.
I'm not a real big shirt and tie guy, as you obviously have seen throughout these videos. I don't really do that a whole lot. So I won't have those button down polos with the little Keller Williams on them.
Right.
But I wear, various jackets, very pullovers, things like that. Almost all of them have something like that on there.
Right.
Because when I'm out and about, I want them to know this is what I do.
Right.
It's not any different with the videos. You're doing the same thing. Have something where you can see it. Even if you don't want to do that, then come into YouTube, come into whatever, and put a watermark at the behind it where you're saying, boom, Justin Lefty, realtor, boom.
Right.
See,
I agree with that. Having I have my watermark on my videos and stuff like that. But I'm thinking about taking it to the next level. I don't want to get too overwhelming with it where it's all in your face, but I definitely want to have it out there more than just the watermark. Because sometimes
you're gonna be NASCAR. Every sleeve's gonna have a logo on it.
NASCAR. That's a good way to put it.
Hey, they do it well, man. And they were the first to do it, right? Their car had every inch covered. Their whole uniform has every inch covered. You're paying so much for sponsorship, and so much so that now baseball, football, and basketball are all trying to figure out how they can get in on that market.
Yeah,
you're seeing it everywhere. Football's doing a little bit. Baseball, you see it, always behind the dugout, right? There's always someone right there. Sleeves usually have somebody sponsored. And so you're right, because that is indirect marketing that is actually getting a name out. And I don't know how people can analyze what that does for them, but they know it's valuable.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you got to see it over and over to really recognize it. And if you're building a brand for yourself, which is what the video is, you work at Keller Williams or whatever, but I'm still doing business with Justin. So you want to have you out there and your brand and what that represents. So whatever that looks like, however that, is interpreted, hey, I think putting it out there everywhere is a good idea. And I'm going to start doing that.
No, I think it's a really good idea. And it definitely helps. I mean, that's the whole thing that we're trying to do with this as far as content. You're trying to, be found. You're trying to create the content that will be searchable and findable. You're trying to build content that's going to be relatable. Trying to build a brand. So why not have that out there and available and seen when you're building that content?
Yep.
Now, it doesn't need to be every time, right? I mean, if you're doing a personal comment, if you're doing, help me, I need help with my dog, having Justin Lefty Keller Williams up here, it's like, what?
Right.
But, personal or brand or professional, anything like that, always have it out there. Indeed, definitely have it out there. It's huge. And I think you're missing a huge opportunity.
Hey, and Justin, I'm thinking about doing it even on my personal videos. I'll be honest. I think I'm going to do some branding on my personal videos too. But I
don't think it's bad to do it on some. I just think you got to keep in mind what you're doing with someone. If I'm screaming help for my dog, that might not always be the right place for it.
Right.
It doesn't hurt. I'm just saying sometimes you can't keep that in mind a little bit. I don't disagree though, but that's what everyone's out there for. Everyone's going to be a little bit different.
Well, that's what Mark Cuban was saying. He was saying on his videos, and I don't, this is the problem with videos, right? There's a million ways to do videos, but he said, hey, you need to put yourself out there and get more personal. Tell people what you like. Tell people what you maybe don't like. Tell people, some of the things that, like for this person, what do you wear? What's your favorite shoe brand or, whatever the case may be. But in the background, she did it behind a backdrop of her company logo. So even though the message was about her personal likes, the branding was behind her. And so I thought that was a really, really good way of multi-purpose, if you will, brand where you're not so in your face trying to sell something in a video rather than it's a little bit of a subliminal message there. So
I agree. I mean, like I said, I'm not necessarily against it. I just sometimes, for me, I probably wouldn't do that if I'm doing something extremely personal. I'm just trying to get out there. Like I did a Periscope, middle of December, doing Christmas tree cutting, just showing people what's going on. That one I probably wouldn't have done it for. If someone had it, I wouldn't be. Because I'm not going to look at it and say I'm offended. It's just something for me personally I would never have done.
Right.
But again, that's what makes it nice. Everyone has their own little thing. But to ignore it completely, I think, is a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're exactly right. Product placement, that is huge. That's why people are paying big dollars. What is that one?
I look at it even on American Idol or something like that. They're drinking from a Coke can. Yes. Coke. Okay, I just saw it. Now, product placement. So that's where, I think he was going with that. And I think there's a lot of value in that. And I think we really miss that. We start focusing on this content when sometimes you can have these subliminal messages get out there that are just as effective.
Oh, I completely agree. I think that is huge. America's Got Talent is big on that. You can see that they're into Snapple one year. They're into Gatorade the next. Right. And there's no missing it at all.
Right.
And you know, I guarantee they got sales from it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it.
Right. Right. Brand awareness. Now, as far as personal, I mean, we've kind of touched on that. I mean, trending. I know with me, one of the things that in my whole purpose of me doing my podcast was because of SB 1070. And here, everybody knows what SB 1070 was. It was the illegal immigration bill that was introduced in Arizona.
Yeah.
And it got nationwide attention. And a lot of people said, oh, well, Arizona is going to go out and people are going to move out of the state and they're going to lose all kinds of revenue. You're going to lose the Super Bowl. You're going to lose this, that, and, you know, property values are going to go down. You're not going to have conventions there, blah, blah, blah. And I said, hold your horses. No, that's not going to happen. So, but it got into this kind of news media frenzy, if you will. So trending, when I speak of trending, take local things that matter to the citizens of your community and make a video out of that. Give your perspective on that. Kristen Levanway has done some videos on that and what these things mean. For example, we had the Super Bowl here in Arizona last year. There were some videos by realtors put out there about whether or not you should rent your home out for Super Bowl visitors, the pros and cons of doing that, the legalities of doing that. That's kind of a trend because of what's happening, but you're piggybacking on an event that may be happening in your community that you can make a video on. So those are very, very popular, and those can help. You can really get some good views just with the trending videos by doing something like that, piggybacking on local events.
Oh, I agree. I think knowing your topics and going out there, I teach people all the time to search Twitter, not to become a Twitter expert, but to know what people are talking about in your area and then have conversations on that. I completely agree. Here's my question for you, and I'm going to be very sarcastic about this.
Uh-oh.
But no one wants to hear my opinion. I'm going to offend people and lose business.
Yeah, to which I say, well, yeah, there's always somebody who wants to hear somebody's opinion, because if you have that opinion, then somebody else is going to have a similar opinion. So, and if you're going to piss people off, then maybe that's somebody you don't want to do business with anyway.
I would agree. I mean, you got to play a delicate line. It's not like you're trying to say, hey, by the way, everybody is horrible and I'm the only genius out there. But, you know, if you're professional about saying, here's what it is and here's why you don't need to worry about it, and here's what I'm taking off, don't worry about pissing people off. I think that's an insane thing to worry about.
And I think that's a thing. I'm glad you brought that up, because I think that's something that really holds people back. You know, we don't want to say Merry Christmas because we're afraid of offending somebody, you know, or something like, well, if that's where you are, then that's who you are. I mean, don't try to pretend to be something you're not when it comes to these videos. That's when I do my podcast and stuff, I don't take out the stutters. I don't take out the mispronunciation. And I'm doing it right now, right? Mispronunciation of words or whatever. You know, I don't take any of that out because that's who I am. So, and Kristen Levanway, you know, I've talked to her a couple of times, and I keep bringing her up because she says, as a realtor, she doesn't want to be in the car with somebody who has when they have an awkward moment. So when they watch your videos, they kind of know who I am. Well, I even meet them. And so there's this relationship there of the ice already broken. So we don't have awkward moments in the car when I'm driving them to wherever. Now, you know, not every realtor drives their clients to open houses or whatever. You know, maybe they follow in a different car, but there are those moments where you have these awkward kind of conversation type deals. She doesn't have that because of her videos. Yeah,
somebody mentions action, you're going, I don't really agree, but I don't want to say that right now because there's a client. No, I agree. I think I think we worry way. No, I'm not suggesting being rude, being insensitive, being discerning. You know, if you're at a heated moment, you might want to take a step back before you create that video. But there is no problem with saying your opinion. There's no problem having your belief in what's going on. Just be respectful and have valid points. Don't sit there and say, I just don't, you know, to me, as soon as it comes to name calling, I think you've lost, right? Yeah. And that's just the basic rule I've always put in place. You know, if you're that heated, take a step back. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you got to be delicate about, you know, politics, religion, you know, certain topics you probably got to be a little, you know, mindful of, if you will. But those don't really pertain to, you're not going to have a heated debate about politics on a real estate video, right? It's just not going to happen. You're probably not going to do that on a professional or in a personal video either. Doesn't mean that you can't voice your opinion about certain things. You're absolutely entitled to do that, and I would encourage people to do that. But No, I even see it here on Blab, Justin. I've seen some of these politically kind of motivated blabs out there, and you'll see the chat room just light up on fire. People arguing back and forth about why certain candidates are better than another, or why this one's an idiot and why this one isn't. That's a dangerous slope. So you don't necessarily want to get into that, of course. But at the same time, if you want to make a video that might be a little bit controversial, maybe there's, Detroit, for example, I think is, or not Detroit, but Flint, Michigan is having water issues, right? I think they went to some kind of local, and I don't know the whole story, but they went to some local water plant, and it ended up being, I don't know, I don't want to say tainted, but it ended up being poisoned water or something like that. And so they had to go back to the city of Detroit and have city of Detroit water pumped into their city or whatever. Well, that's a story related to real estate that is trending in that community, but you don't want to necessarily go on either side when making maybe that video and pointing out fingers to, this person's wrong, that person's wrong. So you got to be a little careful. I think.
Your homework. Always do your homework. I mean, if you're going to create an opinion piece, do your homework. Make sure you have that, and there's not something you're missing out. Because if you want, don't say something wrong, right?
Right.
So yeah, hey, they poisoned the water. Well, no, actually, here's what happened. Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So that's the only thing I would say when trending. If it's kind of a hot topic in your community, just do your homework, like you said, and be a little mindful of both parties.
I think opinions are great, and I think everyone, as you have well said, everyone has them. It doesn't mean you should not express them, especially from a video perspective. And definitely from a trending topic, that's huge, right? You need to make sure you have. I mean, in Chicago, it's gun violence. And to sit there and have videos out there talking about it's not the bad idea. You just got to make sure you're not doing it red, and you have the same problem we'd have. Make sure there's no redlining concerns going on with these videos. Don't live here because of type of thing.
Well, and too, Justin, I mean, sometimes bad publicity is good publicity, right? We got some people out there who are very famous because they're idiots. So, for example, there was that bakery here from Chef Ramsay right here in Scottsdale where they chewed out every customer that came through the door and, that didn't like their food. They told them to take a hike or whatever. That company is now out of business. But for a while there, I mean, everybody in Phoenix went to that place just to piss them off and film them and laugh at them. Now, it didn't necessarily do good for business. But my point being is that sometimes bad publicity, something controversial, can be spun into a positive.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, the problem is obviously they didn't have a product that was worth buying. But if they had bad publicity and a product worth buying, you'd probably still be talking about them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's where the problem comes from right now. I think trending topics are huge. I think, but the problem with trending is it's not just stats. And when we say trending, everyone goes, okay, I got to know what's going on. Is market going up? Market's going down? And those are fine studies. But I think you nailed it better. Trending is trending conversations that are going on that you need to get your foot around, right? You go, here's what's going on in the state. Here's why, one of the things that's going on in Illinois is you have more people leaving Illinois than entering Illinois. Well, let's talk about why.
Right.
These are conversations you need to have, and let's pay attention. But now, again, it goes back to what I was talking about earlier. People don't want to create videos because they don't know what to talk about. Well, trying to find out why, that's not a one-day research. You got to really kind of break it down and understand what's going on, or at least bring people on. Like if we want to do that, I'd want to bring someone on that's quote unquote the expert that says, here's what's going on and here's why I want to talk about it. Interview that person. That could be another way of doing it. Hey, expert A, I want you to talk to you. I want to interview real quick on why you're seeing X happen.
Now, let me ask you this when it comes to that. Okay. So, when we talk about controversy and what that, how to kind of get that out there or whatever, what are your thoughts on somebody who wants to do a video? Like, for example, here in Arizona, we have a very big, prominent Hispanic community. Now, Hispanics tend to like to do business with Hispanic realtors. Now, because of that, they kind of take advantage of that situation there a little bit, especially in the Hispanic loan officer community.
Sure.
They take advantage of that demographic, if you will. Now, I think that that's a subject matter, right? It's a little controversial because you start entering into the race and all that kind of stuff. But there is content there. I don't think anybody wants to go down this road or knows how quite to go down it. But there is definite content there about, those sort of issues that are out there. Obviously, race is a big issue in our country. But having a race kind of related video, sometimes it may not even be worth it. You know what I mean? The risk versus reward may not be worth it either. So when we talk about controversy, I guess, pick your battles, I guess.
Well, I would say, the example you're giving there, no one in real estate is going to touch that conversation.
Right.
There's too many laws and too much HUD and too much stuff that goes on with that. No one's touching that. And nor would I necessarily recommend it. I don't know how you can even have that conversation. Example A of race A said A. By the time you get done with that conversation without breaking any laws, I don't think anybody go, "What'd you just say?"
Yeah. But it's a widely known fact of the community. Yet nobody wants to talk about it, kind of thing. So it is one of those, and I'm sure Phoenix is no different than any other community. I'm sure it happens in all communities. So I guess the point being, when you talk about trending or some stuff like that, if you get really pissed off and you want to make a video because you're trying to have a sounding board, you don't necessarily want to do that either. Don't go down some roads. Well,
no, there are definitely slippery slopes as far as content goes, and unless you are sure-footed or you've got the right safety gear on, I wouldn't go down those slopes. I just wouldn't.
Right.
Having opinion is one thing, but having a wish to be bombarded not only with just collateral damage but legal damage, I think is a conversation you got to be wary of.
Right. So now trending. When it comes to trending, I don't really recommend doing national trending stuff when it comes to real estate and videos. I recommend doing local things because that's your market, right? So if you want to be an expert in your market, focus on the trending topics locally in your market. A good resource for that would be Trulia. Would be a good resource for that, their blog page or whatever. Another one that I use quite often, since I'm in Phoenix, I use Arizona State University. So use your local university. A lot of them have blog pages. Mm-hmm. Their professors and things speak about the local when they teach real estate and the economics of whatever. Here, W.P. Carey School of Business, they have a research center, and they have a website that is dedicated to the economics of Phoenix and real estate and things like that. So, get on your local university's web page, and there's probably a lot of topics right there that are current and relevant. That you can
I would agree. I think national, I will always put a little national in here because what I always like to make sure is my clients understand one simple thing. Yes, nationally we're up 20%, but unfortunately in my area we're down 5%. Right. So please, if you want to know what's going on, that's great. Watch the news, but always double check with me. Right. So I like using national data just to let them know that you need to be local before you worry about national. It's great that we're on a trend up.
Yeah.
But that's not everywhere, and it's not everything. And everybody's different and every area is different. So I will use it, and I won't use it every time, but I'll use it. But I agree. I think universities have always been a strong solution for finding local statistics because they got to do research all the time. Right. They have the time and manpower to do it. I will sometimes talk to like the local assessor's office and stuff like that because they're running stats all the time too and find out what they're seeing. I do that mostly because I've had arguments with our local assessors, especially when the market was downshifting and they were still arguing with me on pricing. And I'm like, okay, we got to talk about how you're running your numbers. But with that, we built some relationships, and that always helped.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, another thing in trending might be styles, right? Styles, layouts of homes. Like for example, condos and townhomes are a hot topic, hot selling button right now. So that's trending here locally. So that could be something too that you could talk about is, what's trending, what's selling. Open floor plans are selling, or, I don't know, stainless steel appliances, whatever the case may be, talk about those things too when it comes to trending.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think anything that's trending that you can pick on that's going to separate you out, that especially if you are seeing it or you're noticing that no one else has that article yet. Right. Are the baby boomers buying single, ranch homes? Or are they buying the 2 stories? What are they doing? How's that happening? What are the millennials doing? What's going on? What are they buying? How are they doing that? What are the trends going on in your area? And again, it's always hyper local, because it does not matter. For me, it doesn't matter that open floor plans with stucco is going on in Arizona, right?
Let me throw this at you. I want to get your thoughts on this, because I see a lot of realtors wanting to do, not a lot, I shouldn't say, but the realtors who are on videos, right? Because we're talking about content and ideas of how to make, not how to make, but what to talk about on videos. I see a lot of realtors kind of fall into this trap of, hey, this is how I generate leads. Hey, this is how I, use Facebook, or this is how it's more of like their audience is other realtors rather than regular consumer. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm making a video here of, of how I did a Facebook post or something. I don't know. It just seems a bit like out of context for what they do and what they represent. You know
I couldn't agree more. I laugh on 2 things right now. It goes back to what Max was just saying earlier. Make sure you're keeping the end user in mind. I think that's a huge point.
Yeah.
But most realtors, I don't think they know who they're talking to. And I don't think they've identified who their audience is. And that's a problem, because if you don't know who you're talking, when I'm talking to this camera, I need to know who I am talking to. I'm not talking to the camera. I am talking to John Jones, who's 25 years old, looking for his first home. And that's who I'm talking to. And that's who I want to have the conversation with.
Right.
I'm not talking to Realtor Bob that I just had coffee with saying, man, I can't believe what these guys are buying. This is insane. Why are they looking for ranch homes? That's not what we're doing here.
Right.
This is conversations between me and the people I'm trying to attract. And I agree. I think they're doing it wrong. I don't think they're doing it hugely wrong, but I think a lot of people are doing it wrong because they're talking to us as they're talking to realtors, not as they're talking to clients who know absolutely nothing of what we do in our industry. And you see it in Twitter a lot, because I laugh. I follow a hashtag right now called #realtor, and they're advertising for sale homes and staging tips all over the place. I guarantee you, no consumer is searching #realtor.
Right. Exactly.
So why in the world would you be wasting your time with that hashtag? It should be #Phoenix, #Phoenix real estate, #buying in Phoenix, whatever those things are.
Whatever. Right.
Whatever that common thread that's trying to go in that area, you need to have that. And that's what the conversation needs to be too. You need to be focusing on who you're talking to and what do they want to hear. And better yet, how do they want to hear it?
Yeah.
Right. Because we're pushing video right now. Maybe your communities or the people that you're marketing to are all in the retiree section of the world, or maybe they're at a section where they don't do video and they're not doing that stuff. And you're trying to create 5,000 videos. Well, that's not the right audience for you, unless you're trying to change your audience. And then it's a different story. But know who you're going with and know who you're having that conversation with. And then talk that way, right? That's one of the things that we're realtors are supposed to do. We're supposed to be communicating and understand who we're communicating with and talk to them in the way they want to be heard.
Right. Yeah. And I can't, I'm glad you said that, because when I talk to realtors, that's kind of what they go after. Even like I'm in the podcast world, so I listen to podcasts, and I always hear these realtors about, hey, I'm interviewing the top agent, and this is what you can do, and this is what they do to, create these leads, and they do this and do. And it's like, man, why are you doing that podcast, man? Are you getting paid to do that? To talk to high producing realtors, or you learn something from them, of course, but you're not focused on your audience, unless that is your audience. If your audience is other realtors, then, go after them. And that's kind of, I guess, going into my next kind of subject here, or content types, that being showcasing. I think realtors don't want to be in front of the camera. Therefore, they use the properties as the star of the video. And then that's all they do is just property video, property video, property video, property video. And that gets old real quick for me. I don't know about you, but showcases, properties are important. I get that. And tours and virtual tours and all this kind of stuff, it's important. You sprinkle that in there, of course, because that's what you sell. But don't make that your focal point either, because somebody who wants to buy a 4-bedroom home may not be, I don't know. I guess showcase what you can as far as properties, but don't make that your only video source, I guess.
Oh no, I would say showcasing is great, and I agree completely with where you're going with that, because I think showcasing, when we say showcase, every realtor is going to say this. Okay, I got to showcase my home, because in realtor.org or .com, that's what you do. You showcase it's a home, right? You get all these special banners, more pictures. You put a video in there, all right, and you got to pay $100 a month or whatever it is for it.
Right.
So that's where they go with that term. But showcasing doesn't have to be only the home. Showcasing could be a premier client that just got done working a deal and that everyone just had a good time with. You could be showcasing that conversation. You could be showcasing a brand new restaurant that just came out in the area.
Exactly.
Right? You could be showcasing the groundbreaking of a new park that's coming into a neighborhood, the new schools that's starting up. Maybe, for me, it would be showcasing the basketball tournament that my high school just won. Right. These things can all be showcased because you're showing that you're involved in the community and you're doing other things. And yes, it matters from a real estate perspective that you are selling homes, because no one wants to see that you sold nothing. Okay. You're looking through your video feeds going, great. But have you done business, right? You got to show them that you've done business.
Right.
But it's got to be an equal balance, and you got to kind of balance that out. And if all you're doing is professional show tour, that's great, but you're not going to get a lot of traffic. I mean, you're just not going to get it. You're not going to get a lot of conversion out of it.
Hardly any conversion, really. I mean, I don't, the whole, and that's where I think a lot of realtors get, and a lot of people, not just realtors, but get discouraged with video. It doesn't work. Okay. Well, it doesn't work because all you're doing is showing a house, and some of the pictures that you put on these videos are just frankly horrible. They don't even need to be on there. I always tell, showcase the highlights of the property, and that's it. Forget about the rest. If it's only 2 things, then showcase those 2 things. Bookmark it with you talking about the house, maybe doing a narrative of the house or whatever, and then be done with it. Don't try to show every picture, every room, every piece of carpet blade. Don't overdo the videos. Just make them kind of simple when you're showcasing a property. When you're doing the restaurants or preschools or any of that kind of stuff, then obviously you're going to take a little bit more time, interview the principal or that sort of thing, and put that together a little bit better. But that's because you're seeing human interaction within that video, and people will tend to watch those videos longer than they do a house. If I see a house, I click on it. If I see a couple pictures that look like crap, I'm off that video in a heartbeat. And so that video is just a waste of time for me.
Again, most people, when they're doing videos right now for real estate tours, they're not videos. They're animated slideshows.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, I don't even know if people pay attention to that virtual tour anymore, because I think that everyone's got just a bad taste in their mouth on that. If I was Zillow or Trulia, whatever I branded actual virtual tours would not be used to term virtual tour, because it's nothing. No one thinks of virtual tours the way that word actually means. They think of it as animated slideshows, and people are going to run away from it.
Well, and that's what Kristen Levanway, that's what she said. And I don't know, hopefully I didn't lose you there. But Kristen Levanway, she doesn't do any property videos. 0.
I don't think you need to. Don't get me wrong. I think there's definitely a place for them. But if you have a solid business plan that's going on with that, you don't need them. You don't have to have them. If you want them, that's a totally different conversation and great for you. That's something that is definitely a doable solution. But if you want that and you want your video channel to have nothing but virtual video tours, I don't know what audience wants that only, right? I don't know who wants it. I mean, you've seen various websites that come up that try to do that only, and they don't last a long time because it's just there's not enough there to make that tasteful and satisfying.
Now, having said that, and I know we're running a little bit tight on time because I think we're trying to keep this to an hour or something, right? But with that being said, there's a lot of companies you just mentioned out there, eProperty Sites being one of them, a couple other, sites out there that actually take property pictures, turn them into videos, and then put them up on YouTube or whatever. I always tell the agents I work with that's a waste of time. I want to get your thoughts on those.
I don't think it's a waste of time, but I do think it's a complete waste of money.
Okay. Well, no, okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. It is a waste of money. You're absolutely right. Thank you for correcting me on that. It's not a waste of time to showcase properties necessarily, but when I look at those videos, 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, they always lead back to the originating company's YouTube page, not the realtor's YouTube page. And so it's a waste of, when I say waste of time, it doesn't do any benefit to the realtor in building their web presence on YouTube, because it all goes to that company's YouTube page.
Oh yeah, from a Google perspective, the originator of the content, and they don't see it as the person creating the video. For instance, right now we are giving Blab incredible juice by creating this video. The nice thing about it is Blab also lets us download these videos and put it on our own channels.
Right.
The originator of this content gets first dibs on this stuff. So yes, I love that these companies do it, because there's a lot of realtors that don't want to spend the time worrying about this stuff or doing it, but they need to understand that they're giving themselves no traffic to their website, no traffic to that stuff, because they're getting no original content quality to their website from that stuff. So I think it's a challenge, and I think it's a very bad idea to do that. Now, if you have no other choice and you don't have any time and that's what you want to do, great. You've made that business decision, and that is fine. That is your business to handle. But don't get disappointed when you get no results on your website from that stuff. And that's how you're growing business right now. Facebook, Google, your website, that's where you're going to grow from. Not from a third-party website that's hosting your video, that built your video, rather, and hosting it for you because it's easier that way. It's still usable and you still can do stuff with it, but you're not generating any real growth traffic to any sustainable business.
Right. I agree. Okay. I want to make sure that I was on the right page, man.
No, I would agree completely. SEO is an interesting bird, and it's an always changing reality, but I think it's a great thing to point out, especially from a content perspective. And we talked about it a little bit last time. You want to think hosting and where you're putting that stuff. And even with that being said, YouTube is its own hosting. That's not always the strongest strategy, but that's the easiest one to go to, and that's the most searched item. So I don't mind being there. But if you have a solution where you can put all that video on your own website, that's even better.
Yeah. 100%. All right, cool, man. I think I don't know about you, but I think we covered a lot. I put some stuff in the chat there, some links or whatever, some YouTube channels. I would highly recommend visiting or becoming a member of the Best of Real Estate Video. To see what and that's on Google Plus, by the way. I can put that link up there again. But if you're interested in what your competitors are doing and kind of the video quality that's out there and all that, that's a great resource for video. And you'll even get some ideas on content for the videos. You'll also may even see some videos that are done pretty poorly. So if it doesn't look good to you, then it probably is not going to look good to somebody else. So keep that in mind.
Learning is good either way, right? You learn what to not to do and what to do.
Right.
I don't care as long as you learn.
Right. So, that I think we pretty much covered it. What do you think?
I think my throat said yes.
Yeah. Good grief, man. You got a cold that's just never ending there.
Yeah, it's getting better, surprisingly enough, but this shows no proof. No proof. Yeah.
All right,
if I talk too much, that's what happens.
Very cool. Very cool. So I think we're right at an hour, which is pretty good. Pretty good timing on that one. I started the music there. I hope that's okay.
Perfect.
So, but Jayson Bates here, www.valleyofthesunrealestateshow.com. If you're looking to buy or you need financing to buy or refinance a home here in Arizona, please go to my website. I'd love to earn your business.
And my name is Justin Letheby. I'm the E-Professor of Real Estate. That is actually my website, E-Professor Real Estate, where I do realtor training, technology-based, and coaching. You guys are always welcome to contact me that way, and we'll want to do business with you guys. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll chat later.
All right, cool.